Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 random run where we take a random character, random weapon, and try to beat Danger 5 with it. Hope you're all doing well. So, we have done 61 out of the 62 characters and have won 61 out of our 61 attempts. So we're gonna lock in and take this run seriously and see if we can get our final win for the full win streak with the Romantic. The Romantic, I think, is a fairly difficult character, but it doesn't get that much harder with random weapons. There's a couple here that are pretty weak for us. Lute is pretty bad, Sharp Tooth, or Flute is pretty bad. Lute's always good, but Flute is pretty bad, Sharp Tooth is pretty bad, and a couple like Fist and Scissors that don't really synergize with what your character's trying to do, but I'm reasonably happy with most rolls that we can get here. I used submachine guns for my class guide, so we'll re-roll that, and we've got the Spoon. I don't think I've done a Spoon run yet, so that's actually pretty fun. Let's go ahead and jump in with the Spoon. So this scales off of our max HP, which is great because this character wants to build max HP in order to trigger its passive more frequently. Get this tree kill if we can, then group up all these enemies and see if we can get the full wave clear. We're one shy of the maximum that we could have gotten on wave 1, so definitely not bad. Here we're going to reroll and try to find some harvesting, and then we will pick up that harvesting, and then we're going to grab another Spoon. One thing that's really nice about Spoon as a weapon for the Romantic is the blunt weapon tag. The main challenge for this character is that you lose armor frequently. Every 5 curse you get, you lose 3 damage and 1 armor, and you gain curse every wave. It can be tempting to try to avoid getting curse for that reason, but curse is so powerful that you want to build around the curse that you get from that stat, but that does mean that you need to heavily prioritize buying armor. So we're going to buy duct tape here, even though it decreases our damage scaling and everything, because you just can't play the game if you don't have a lot of armor on, especially on Abyssal Terrors. So you need to work around that. Wow, this Cursed Rock would have been so good if we were allowed to buy it, but we can't. So let's roll again and buy another Spoon. Getting 4 of these is pretty awesome as well, because that gives us a lot of additional stats early, and it's not the cheapest weapon either, so I think 4 is a little over par for how many you can expect to get. There's sort of 2 main things that you need to do with the Romantic. You need to get to the point where your passive actually does something. In the early game, the Romantic's charming enemies passive is basically useless because enemies don't have the HP to survive your attacks anyways, so you never charm them. And you just don't have the HP or attack speed or anything to make it reliable to try to charm enemies. So you need to get out of the early game so your passive starts to do stuff. And you need to overcome the armor loss. The damage loss isn't that big a deal, but the armor loss is huge. So getting the blunt weapon tag to help offset that is really nice. I'm going to roll here again. I'm still looking for harvesting. I missed a couple times, so we're just going to take 1 armor. Like I said, you just have to super heavily prioritize buying armor. Also, this did work out where I didn't do the math here, but this did work out perfectly where we were able to buy a Spoon, reroll, and buy another Spoon. One advantage of the blunt weapon tag, fairly small weapon tag, so you're much more likely to find the specific weapon that you're looking for. So at this point we've got, oh nice, we got a charmed ally that should help with some wave clear. And with low move speed, our wave clear is going to be pretty bad in the early waves until we can fix that, because move speed with a melee weapon is one of your most important stats for clearing early waves. So with our low move speed from the blunt weapon tag, it's going to be a little harder for us to clear these early waves, but getting that charmed ally definitely helped. Here I'm going to reroll, still looking for harvesting. Do I take luck, attack speed, armor? I'm just going to keep taking armor. We're all the way up to 4 armor already. Here I could take a level 4 melee damage, so let's take a look at our damage scaling. So we get 50% off the Spoons, or 15% of our max HP. The base damage is going to be very high as long as I get decent amounts of max HP, so I'm not really worried about buying melee damage for this weapon. I'd rather roll for stats that actually help us out. This reroll is getting pretty expensive though, so we're just going to take some move speed and start offsetting our move speed loss. Buy both of these items and then reroll. I do still have to buy this armor for the duct tape, but it is a little painful that this is the way that we're getting armor, because it's reducing my HP, which is reducing my damage. We'll lock Cute Monkey as well, because it's a good way to heal. So, not great shops early, but at least we've got our full weapon set online. We have rerolled a lot and not found any harvesting, so that's definitely a downside. This crate should hopefully help us out. We do still have the damage and defenses to survive the lamprey and kill it. Unfortunately, it didn't get charmed. If you get the charmed lamprey, it's really nice on this wave, because it can really help clear this wave and make sure that you get the curse alien kills. Because you lose stats for curse, it can be tempting to avoid killing curse aliens and try to avoid getting too much curse and losing armor, but curse is so good that you should still just play around it. I'll take the goat skull here, because it is still 1.5 base damage. Attack speed would be really nice, but I've gotta find harvesting. Our economy is suffering so much because we haven't found any. Okay, I'll do one more reroll. Yikes. I'll just take 2 armor here. I could take the HP for more damage as well, but armor's just still so good. We'll take the Cute Monkey, we'll reroll. Finally got another spoon, so we'll buy coupon and then spoon, save 2 materials there, and then do a reroll. And Baby Gecko could work pretty well with some things that we are potentially going to build. We have the Cute Monkey. We'll build baby elephants and cyberballs if we find them, so the Gecko's pretty nice for that. So I'll take that. I'll take the Terrified Onion as well, just because my move speed is negative, so even at the cost of luck, I do have to fix my move speed. This run is going pretty well, except for how much we've spent looking for harvesting and not found any. That's definitely the main challenge that we're facing right now. Which means that we're going to be playing on pretty low economy for the early waves, because not only did I spend a lot of money on nothing, we also don't have the harvesting that you would normally want to have at this point in the run. By wave 5, you should really strive to have at least 20 harvesting, so your harvesting can keep growing, and you can get a decent amount of income despite the low amount of materials that you get from enemies on this map. But you can see that without it, we're really struggling. We're down about like 30 materials compared to what you would want to get on wave 5 normally on Abyssal Terrors, so we're going to have to fix that soon. Coffee, of course, is great. This is a slow attacking melee weapon, so getting attack speed is awesome, and coffee is just one of the best items in the game. Finally found some harvesting, and then here, 3 armor. That's perfect. Being at 10 armor on the romantic already is obviously amazing. Buy the spoon and another spoon, and then I'm going to take the Terrified Onion. Yes, it cost me luck, but move speed is actually an economy stat for this character, and we'll take this spoon. Do I think I have the HP to survive the Weird Ghost, or the regen to survive the Weird Ghost? I think I do. Landmines is actually not terrible for the romantic. You tend to do a lot of sort of random damage around the map, because your charmed allies will do that. So landmines can help support that strategy, but because we're playing on low economy and kind of struggling to find the stats that we need other than armor, I'm going to pass on kind of luxury items like the landmines. Focus more on core stats. We just need move speed, attack speed, armor, regeneration, HP, and of course economy in the form of luck and harvesting. So basically everything, which is why I don't want to spend money on items that don't give us any of those core stats. The great thing, though, is that we don't have to invest in melee damage, because the base damage of our weapon comes from our HP, which is going to be pretty high just sort of naturally, and which we are going to focus around building up. I wasn't able to kill that tree, unfortunately, but that's fine. I'm just going to take 5 harvesting here. I still just want to boost my harvesting. The dodge would also be not terrible, but I don't think we can afford to build dodge. Cursed submachine gun would be awesome. We keep finding these cursed weapons I'm not allowed to buy. Take the gecko here. We'll take treasure map. That's a way to fix our economy. Same with this whistle, if that happens to give us value. And then we'll take mushroom and spicy sauce. Of course, we want to buy all the HP that we see to scale our spoons. And spicy sauce is another way to just sort of do random damage. Mushroom gives us regeneration. I'm going to need to get a consumable drop. Hopefully we get a tree spawn or something, because we are in a little bit of risk from having bought the weird ghost here. Once I get a consumable heal, though, we're in much better shape. even without much healing, Weird Ghost is usually a pretty safe purchase. I think that because the time when you're at 1 HP is the beginning of the wave, which is the least dangerous part of the wave. So one way you can almost certainly improve your win rate is by buying Weird Ghost more often. It's a very efficient source of HP, and the risk looks bad, but really isn't. Because this is the healing wave and my damage is kind of low, I'm just avoiding the walrus here because the enemies just keep healing. So I'm just trying to get as much money out of this wave, which is pretty bad for us. We actually got very little money because my harvesting is so weak on wave 7. Do I just take 4 melee damage here? I think I'm going to reroll. I feel like there's stats we need more. Attack speed or harvesting? I'll take 8 harvesting. Again, I just want to get this to like 40 or so pretty soon so that we can actually heal or actually make money. We'll take the plant. We'll take the mushroom. Great to be at 9 regen now. And then spicy sauce will help more than the cute monkey in the short term. Plant, of course, we'll grab. Shady potion is excellent. That gives us luck that we badly need. And broken mouth, of course, is great as well. So excellent shop for us there. That helps a ton. One challenge that we're having with this spoon build is that we're just not farming enemies because we have low attack speed and our damage instances are fairly high. So we're not doing a lot of we're not getting a lot of chances at charming enemies. Even though our HP is decent, it's not high enough to make each individual chance very high. And we rarely are hitting enemies when they're below the health threshold. And when we do, we're often just killing them. So we're rarely actually charming enemies at this point. So we need to get another couple levels and get stronger enemies before we start charming things more reliably. 200 income on wave 8 is still pretty terrible. Check the attack speed of these weapons. Yeah, so with 0.93 seconds, I think the ball and chain is going to be pretty good. It's very unlikely that we're going to get our attack speed much higher than 0.75 on those, on our spoons. And 15% damage and 3 armor is just so incredible for this character. It's exactly what we need, so we're taking the ball and chain. I'm going to take 15 luck here, I think, because that can help fix our economy again, and we'll take Shady Potion, we'll take Cute Monkey Broken Mouth, that's perfect. I'm definitely not taking. Peaceful Bee I'll grab, though. We can start building dodge, and even this late, the harvesting is still pretty good. Let's reroll here, and we'll take a Scar as well. XP gain is amazing for this character because each level gives us HP, which scales our weapons, and of course gives us the stats from that level. What I would really like to see is increased enemy spawns. If we could find a mouse or gentle alien, it would just be awesome. Unfortunately, we didn't get lucky enough to charm the Hatcher this wave. Wave 9 on Abyssal Terrors is quite good for the romantic, typically, because if you get these charmed Hatchers, they hatch. The eggs that hatch out of them are also charmed, and then the slashers that hatch out of those are also charmed. So you get a ton of extra wave clear value by charming just one of those enemies, because you get a ton of really high health, really powerful enemies on your side. It also means you have to spend less damage on killing the Hatchers, which normally absorb a lot of damage because of their very high health. But when you charm them, you have to do less damage to get them killed or on your side. So pretty unlucky rolls on charming the Hatchers this wave, but still a good wave for us. And we're finally back on track, economically speaking, at least a little bit. Normally you want to make about 450 on wave 9, but 400 is not terrible, so we're getting there. I'm going to take the 4 armor here. Of course, we want to boost our armor as much as possible. And then our damage is quite low, so I could just take 3 base damage on all our weapons. I could also reroll for a more important stat. I think I'll just take the damage here, though. I definitely don't want bone dice. We don't want to lose HP. So even though we need percentage damage, the bone dice are not particularly good for us. Then we're going to reroll here. Finally, upgrading our spoons. So now they scale with 25% of our max HP at level 3, which is awesome. Leather vest, even at the cost of max HP, gives us a ton of stats we need. Between the Peaceful Bee and the Leather Vest, now we've gotten a lot of dodge pretty cheap. So suddenly dodge is a much more realistic purchase for us. I will take the Cauldron here. Pickup range is very good for a character that's relying on cute monkeys and consumables in part for our healing, so the pickup radius is good, and the extra damage is good as well. Ritual, I think we can pass on. I'll do one more reroll here. Lock this spoon, and we don't need anything else. I definitely want more move speed. I think that's the stat that we need the most. Because we've found all of this armor, I'm normally on Romantic at this point, we would be desperately hunting for any source of armor we could find. But we found a lot of armor early. We got some good armor level ups. So now we're more focused on fixing our regeneration and our damage stats, because we don't need to worry about the armor as much. One downside of playing a melee weapon for this character, by the way, is that lamprey spawns are pretty good for the Romantic, because if you charm them, they are really good for wave clear, because they do so much damage, fire projectiles and everything. So having a melee weapon so that the blobfish only drop 2 lampreys instead of 4 actually gives you less wave clear, because you're not killing enemies as quickly. Again, we're about 50 materials down on your sort of goal for wave 10. So our economy is still struggling. That's because we didn't find that early harvesting. I'll take the wisdom here. Our damage output can definitely be improved by picking that up. And then we'll take some attack speed. 9 max HP, that's perfect. That boosts our base damage a lot, which is exactly what we need. We'll take the spoon. We'll take baby elephant. This helps the Romantic's passive a lot, because you're sort of splashing random damage around the map with your charmed allies. So other things like baby elephant can work very well to support that strategy. And then Cursed Wandering Bot. This fixes our move speed, which is amazing. It does cost me damage and armor, because we're going to get 4 curse here. But that's still fine. Getting to positive move speed is exactly what we needed. And our attack speed is still, I think we'll benefit more from Poisonous Tonic than we will from the leveled up spoon, because attack speed is still our sort of limiting factor. Our level 3 spoons still are not attacking fast enough for the ball and chain, so we can buy even a little more attack speed for some value, or just level our spoons, because they get faster attacks as you level them up. Cursed Wandering Bot giving us that extra move speed is awesome, and that's part of why I say that you should not avoid getting Curse on this character. Cursed items are just so powerful that even at the cost of a bunch of armor and damage, the chance of rolling into a powerful Cursed item that just gives you all the stats you need is so valuable for the Romantic. Obviously, the Cursed Wandering Bot is not even close to the high roll on that. We could have got, Cursed Fairy, Cursed Black Flag, whatever, just anything along those lines. But this gave us a ton of the stats that we needed, and also keeps us a lot safer by slowing these enemies. Not so much on this Horde wave, where we're just trying to tank through it, because there's so many things on the field. We just have to survive all the hits that we're taking. But in general, it gives you a lot more value. Kill that Curse Alien, try to get some money. Oh, can we get this Loot Alien? I didn't see it in time. That's sad. This is actually kind of interesting. We could be an Estes couch build. We only have 2% movement speed. So we would get minus 20 going down to minus negative 18 movement speed, which would be 38 regeneration, or 36 regeneration. And we get 5 max HP. It is tempting, and I haven't done an Estes couch run on stream, I think, ever. On the other hand, I do just want to kind of lock in and win this run. And I think that Estes couch, even with all the regen, makes you a little worse at fighting through elites and bosses. But you know what? We're gonna give it a try. I'm gonna take negative movement speed, and we're just gonna build full tank with the Estes couch and just kind of hold still and let our charmed allies do the work for us. I'm gonna recycle the eye patch here and night goggles. The extra range is pretty good. Since we're an Estes couch build, being having a low range, but I don't want to lose HP and armor, so we're just going to recycle that. The lure, I'm pretty happy with. Now I can't take move speed, and attack speed isn't good for us. Do I take dodge or percent damage? I think I'm just going to take the dodge. When we're in Estie's couch build, we are going to benefit a lot from every tanking stat that we can find, because we're just going to have to basically eat all the incoming damage. So we're going to take as much in the way of defensive stats as we can get. We'll take the duct tape, penguin, and I'll take the coil. We've already got 5 knockback, apparently. I don't even remember what from. I guess the ball and chain. So this is 10% damage for 150. That's a totally reasonable pickup. And then Pearl is going to be excellent here because although our luck isn't very high, the Cursed Pearl is still just really good. I'll take the Boxing Glove as well because we have the coil. So that boosts our percent damage. And we'll take the Rip and Tear also. And roll here. Community support we don't want, but little muscly dude we do. We don't need the community support because we've got the ball and chain, so we can't attack fast enough anyways. So now our move speed is real slow. So we're going to try to hang out near the center of the map and wait for the enemies to come to us. But I do still need to kill these clams. This would be a lot easier if I had more more range, like a ranged weapon. So the night goggles are tempting for that reason, because range would be pretty valuable given that we're so slow. Estie's couch does change the calculus on whether you want range or not. But I think in general, I was still better off passing it because losing HP and armor is just so bad. Try to kill this curse alien. We're just not slow enough yet for Estie's couch. Oh, I stood on those X's. It's hard not to because we're moving so slowly. So you don't usually want to stand on the red X's when you kill something like that curse alien or that blobfish, because you want to be able to kill the curse aliens and lampreys as soon as they spawn. I don't need life steal. We're going to recycle the bat. I'll take the glasses here. We do want to increase our range. Small magazine, I could buy for bonus attack speed. It does cost me percent damage. I think we're just going to recycle that. And then here, let's take 9 max HP. Then we're going to reroll, and I can't take move speed. I was like, oh, 12 move speed. Nope, can't take that. Let's roll again. We'll just take 12% damage, I think, just to try to boost my damage. Warrior helmet, the perfect find when we're in Estie's couch build. So we'll take spoon, rip and tear. This should help clear the wave a little more. And then I think that the muscly dude will still be better than the warrior helmet for this wave because it gives us more damage. And then we're going to roll again. Another possible small magazine. We'll take goblet. My attack speed with my weapons, yeah, I will buy like a coffee or something, but I'm not going to spend a ton on something like small magazine. The warrior helmet is plus 10 regeneration. Getting a cursed blobfish for the romantic always feels so good, because normally it's almost impossible to charm the blobfish. Because they just have so little health, they die in like one swing. But the cursed blobfish will often get charmed because it has enough health to survive and be able to be charmed. I love this build. We're just sort of sitting back on our couch and just letting other people do the work for us, just charming the enemies and just letting them run around. It's the Elon Musk playing video games build. That joke's gonna get me in trouble, right? We're gonna try to charm this. Oh no, I was gonna try to charm the goblin shark, but I'm gonna try to kill the loot alien there. I'm gonna take the tree and then reroll. Take some dodge here because we've now got pretty good dodge. Scar, even this late, is going to be good. Again, I was like, oh, movement speed. Nice. Can't buy that. We're going to take the goblet and the warrior helmet and then reroll. Take the coupon. I'm so used to ignoring spoon that I almost just rolled past it. I've probably rolled past a couple. Incendiary turret, this is a great way to keep enemies low health. And again, we're just trying to splash damage around the map with this build. So we're going to lock the incendiary turret. Then we'll do a reroll and take the coupon. I'm going to buy the peacock for the horde wave, because we can actually get a ton of XP on the horde wave. And I don't really care that much about increasing enemy damage because our defenses are really good. So even though we don't have the move speed to avoid taking damage and the Peacock's a little risky, I think our defenses are high enough that we can just buy the Peacock anyways and just go nuts next wave. Right at the beginning of this run, I was like, all right, we're going to lock in and take this seriously. And that is not what we've done. The Estie's couch is working out, though, I will say. We didn't have a lot of healing before I found it, so having the Estie's couch has given us a lot more in the way of defensive stats. We're just not killing enough enemies, though, because I'm so slow, so it just takes me a long... And we have really high knockback with the coils as well. So it takes me a long time to get 2 enemies to kill them, so that's costing us a lot of money. Recycle the butterfly here, and then we'll just take 2 more armor. I could take more melee damage, but we still just need to buy as much armor as we can. We'll buy the coupon, Peacock, level our spoon, and take incendiary turret as well. Lock this spoon. Rip and tear, still pretty nice. We'll take a turret here also, and then we'll roll once. Do I just want 40 for 1 HP? Honestly, when our damage scales off HP, I think buying the jelly is fine. This is a very inefficient way to buy HP when you're just a 1-weapon build, of course, when you're a random weapons build, but any point of HP that we get is so valuable for this character. All right, now we're getting slow. So 15 damage from an enemy when we take a hit. It might be a little more if I kill like some curse aliens and stuff. So I do need to be a bit careful, but we have the goblet and we have the Estie's couch to heal back up. So I feel like we can just tank through what's going on here. Just trying to avoid most of the slashes. And if we get hit by, I say and walk into one immediately. I am so not used to trying to dodge with move speed this low because I always prioritize buying move speed. So playing with move speed this terrible is quite alien to me. We have reached the point, though, where we've kind of snowballed to where our charmed allies are killing enough stuff, and we've got the Rip and Tear, which is then charming more stuff, because you just want damage to be spread around the map for this character. We benefit a ton from having that going on. I'm going to take the acid here, of course, because HP is great. We'll take Fishhook. Awesome. Do I want luck? Max or just max HP. I could also take melee damage. It does work with the Rip and Tears, but I think just more max health. And then we'll take 12% damage here. Take 10 luck. That's perfect. And we will buy a spoon. Level 4 spoon scales still with only 25% of our max HP. Oh, also the incendiary turret. I didn't even think of this when I bought it. I kind of forgot the other aspect of spoon, right? It always crits when hitting burning targets. Incendiary turret counts as burning, so we're going to auto crit enemies that are being hit by the incendiary turret. I just didn't even consider that, but that's actually a very important synergy there. Glad I bought this without even, right decision, wrong reasons, which is not what you should strive for. You should always try to to have sound reasoning. It's more important than making the right decision, because that's how you are able to learn and improve. I'm going to take the Rip and Tear here, of course, and then reroll. I'll buy Lost Duck for increased luck and roll again. Cursed Spiky Shield, that would be nice, but again, not allowed to buy it. At this point, though, we do have still 0 consumable heal, but the Alien Worm gives us max HP and regen, so I do want that. I'm gonna roll. I think we just keep buying these jellies. They're not... I'm not happy about it, but every point of HP is so good for this character. It is weird that Spoon doesn't gain any damage scaling going from level 3 to level 4. Am I just missing something about this item, or does it just not get at all better? It just gets 5 base damage. It gets 20 range. Wow, this is maybe the worst level 4 level up in the game. 5 base damage and 20 range. Oh, okay, it gets increased crit damage as well. Okay, so I did miss something. So I should actually have been buying crit chance, or more burning effects if we find a scared sausage or something. I might have passed scared sausage too, in which case that was a mistake, obviously. Buy the bag here. Banner, I think we will buy because we do want range and... Oh, no, wait, because I've recoil, so I can't really buy additional attack. I can't lose knockback, but we'll lock this other spoon. I was really confused about spoon's level up there. As you know, I haven't done a run with this weapon before. So I think I've only played one run with it, and it was off camera, so I wasn't paying that much attention to what things were doing. So I'm learning as I go here. Yeah, this incendiary turret is being awesome, and it does seem like Spoon actually works. It's not like Javelin, which just gets plus 100% crit chance every few attacks. Spoon auto crits against burning targets, so we're always getting the critical hit, even with our negative crit chance. So I don't really need to buy crit chance, I guess. I just need to find more sources of burning in order to benefit from the crit damage multiplier on this weapon. I will admit, I completely forgot that that was a thing. I'm going to take the bag here for minus move speed. Yeah, I'll take another Wandering Bot. Slowing enemies seems pretty good. And we'll take some more regen, or I'm just going to roll here. Taking 6 dodge is going to be even better, I think. We will still just do level 3 spoons here, and then we're going to roll. I could still buy fertilizer even this late, just for the level up potential, but I don't think it'll tip me over into getting an extra level to buy the fertilizer, so we're going to pass on that. We'll buy the spoon. We'll roll here. I definitely... So actually, I'm not sure if our max HP scaling works off the capped value. For most cases, it does, but sometimes it doesn't, and I think probably the spoons will actually scale off our actual HP and not the value that's over cap. Somebody let me know in the comments if that's the case. We don't want the handcuffs anyways, so I don't really care about the answer to that question, but it's just interesting to know. I'll take the blindfold here. Of course, we want to build more dodge. I definitely can't build more move speed. And I have all of these at 0.75, but except for the level 1 spoon, so I don't really need to buy the coffee here. It would make my level 1 spoon a little better, but that's just not something I'm that worried about. We'll just level the weapon instead. Lock in and play well, he says, and then forgets what weapon I'm using. Buy Estie's couch. The Estie's couch is working out very well, though. I've actually been more impressed with this item in this run than I was expecting to be. It's still a terrible item, but in this case, we managed to make good use of it. I think that might be the last item I had never bought in a video, because I don't think I've ever bought Estie's couch on YouTube before. So that might be the last remaining Brotato item that I had never bought. Kind of interesting to think about. Oh, that loot alien escaped at the last minute there. I'm going to reroll here, and we'll just keep building dodge. Improved tools. I do have decent attack speed, and the burning, of course, from the incendiary turret is nice. So I could invest in improved tools. I think I will. We'll upgrade our spoon. We'll take the glasses. I'm actually buying a lot of range here because we're so slow. So range is a little more helpful for this character than for other characters. I will definitely take the adrenaline. I'm going to upgrade my spoon. And I think I want that more than the corrupted shard going into this wave, but I'll lock corrupted shard as well. Goldfish, I'm not going to worry about. All right, so now is the real test. Estie's couch is at its worst against elites, of course, because even the amount of regen you get can often not save you from the incoming damage. One nice thing is this is an elite that follows us, so we can camp on top of our incendiary turret and get the auto crits against it, which is super, super helpful. This incendiary turret is worth its weight in gold, I have to say. All right, we got the kill on that thing. Can I get the cursed mini-boss charms? That would be awesome. It takes so much damage to kill that. Cursed mini-boss on our side, of course, is really good. Even a normal mini-boss is really good for the romantic. It is very fitting that for our last run, we just went absolutely nuts and ended up buying all sorts of bizarre stuff. I am actually going to take the night goggles here. Losing 3 max HP and 1 armor is definitely a problem, but the range is really good for us, like I said, because we're so slow. The range is actually much more helpful than it normally is. And the crit chance is good because we have high crit multiplier. We've got this fish hook that actually helped out, so good job, fish hook. We can now buy all of these things. Cursed Adrenaline is awesome, just going to give us more HP and more dodge, so that healing is going to really come in handy. We'll take the muscly dude and we'll buy the spoon and then reroll. Cursed Metal Plate, that's kind of the perfect item for us. Small Fish, I don't think I care about that much. I could lock it for the fish hook, but I think I'm going to lock the Sunken Bell as kind of a safety net, and then we'll lock this mushroom as well. I'm probably making some mistakes around Estie's couch, because I don't think I've been... I can't remember passing an item with negative movement speed on it, but when you have Estie's couch, you should really buy every item with negative movement speed, and I haven't really been looking out for that specifically. Which, obviously, we should have been. Wait, why am I suddenly so fast? I just gained a bunch of move speed. Did I get... Can you get the buff? If you charm one of the buffing aliens, can you get the buff? And did that give me bonus move speed? I didn't think that actually worked. I thought it only buffed constructs and allies. But I suddenly started moving faster there. So I think we got the buff from one of the buffing aliens and became faster. I'm going to take the dodge here, of course. And then, yeah, we'll just take 12% dodge to get over dodge cap. I'm going to take 4 regen to get over 60 regen. Nice. We got a Cursed Sunken Bell. This can help clear a bunch of enemies if we start losing health. So I think it's still worth it, even though we're going into the last wave here. And then Silver Bullet, this will help a ton. And we'll reroll. Oh, the Jerky and the second Silver Bullet and the Scared Sausage, all of these would have been amazing. Is there any chance I should recycle a weapon to buy Scared Sausage? Because I could recycle one of my level 4 spoons, and then I would get the Scared Sausage. It would cost me an armor, and 4 regen, because I'd gain movement speed. And I don't think it's worth it, because we have the Incendiary Turret. If I didn't have Incendiary Turret, I wouldn't have remembered how spoon works, to be fair. But if I didn't have the Incendiary Turret, I actually would, I think, want to sell one of these spoons for Scared Sausage to get the bonus damage against the elites. So that's actually a really interesting case here. Let's go to wave 20 and see if we can get our last remaining win in the win streak. I'm gonna try to pull these guys over towards the Incendiary Turret. Unfortunately, it spawned in kind of an awkward position, but just gonna run over here. You can see here why I'm not a big Estie's Couch fan, because we're so slow. And even though we've got 60 dodge and great armor, the regen from the Estie's Couch is still not entirely keeping up with incoming damage. So this is making this boss wave harder than if we had just built normally. On the other hand, the regen is just helping us tank through things, so we're going to get there, but it's really cool seeing this happen. Unfortunately, the... Okay, nice. The snake boss moved back into the Incendiary Turret. The fool got it right where I want it, and then we can just do auto criticals and kill it. What a ridiculous run. But that's great. We did it. 62 in a row with random weapons. Super happy with that. Thank you, everyone, for watching throughout this whole series. I'll probably do a series retrospective as well, but I'm so thrilled to have gotten there. I was not expecting this, honestly, when I started this series. I was certainly not expecting to win 62 in a row, but I guess I've gotten better at this game over the last couple years of playing it. Taking a look at our items, we got 205 healing from the cute monkey, which is great. 600 materials saved from the coupon. 3 items from treasure map. That's not amazing, but not terrible either. Spicy sauce. This was mostly for the HP, didn't end up being that valuable. The ball and chain was great. This gave us exactly the stats that we needed. And these early scars were super helpful as well. The baby elephant never really ended up working out, but just any random damage that you can do is really good. The wandering bot was an excellent find at the time, but then we immediately bought Estie's couch, so I sort of wish I hadn't bought it. But the Estie's couch gave us 50 regen, so it meant that we didn't have to buy regeneration for the rest of the run, which is awesome. And this, yeah, it worked. I still don't think I'm gonna suggest buying this item in most cases, but when your speed is really low, you need regen, and you've got other defensive stats, and max HP gives you damage, then the Estie's couch worked out. The coil was 11 damage, that's not bad. The pearl was 8 damage, also not bad. These rip and tears worked very well. Basically, this is just a way to deal damage that counts as hitting the enemy, so that when a charmed ally kills a non-charmed ally, that enemy explodes, and then that rip and tear damage can help charm more guys. So you saw this causing chain reactions across the map of charming, exploding, charming. The incendiary turret was ridiculous, giving us the crit chance, even though I forgot that would happen. The fishhook gave us a couple cursed items, including like the cursed adrenaline, which is great. Bag was still worth 165, even though we got it really late. And we ended the run with 17 armor, despite being the romantic with 60 curse, 60 dodge, and 64 regen from the Estie's couch. So awesome run. Really fun to get a win like this in a completely different style than my normal play style as the last one in the random series. So I hope you enjoyed that. As always, of course, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. It helps me out a ton with the algorithm, and you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato. We'll be back with more different challenges and Brotato series, as well as probably some modded runs soon, and other strategy game analysis. So glad that we made it. That was super fun.